So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, March 20th, 2023 meeting of the Woodbridge Traffic Authority and Board of Police Commissioners. It is now 6:18. The first item on the agenda for the Woodbridge Traffic Authority are the public comments. Is there any correspondence from the public, or is there anyone that wishes to be heard?
No, there's not.
Chief, is Janice with you?
She is, yes.
Okay. Great. The next item on our agenda, the traffic matters. First item is the TPZ Merritt Manila traffic.
Yes, so as I reported to you last month, a request from the Town Planning and Zoning Commission was made to the Police Commission pertaining to the traffic concerns that were expressed to them by the residents of the Manila Avenue, Miles Avenue, and Merritt Avenue area, and two recently approved subdivisions in that neighborhood. The TPZ has asked for recommendations from the board as to any possible traffic calming devices or parking restrictions that might be of a benefit to the residents in that area. I did have a traffic study performed of the area, and the deputy chief will share the findings of that with you tonight. And then following that, we could discuss some possible suggestions to address the concerns in our response on behalf of the LTA to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission and the residents. So Deputy Chief Smith could share some of the findings of that study.
Thanks.
Good evening. So we did, Sergeant Rizzuti conducted a traffic study in the Merritt Avenue, Manila Avenue, and Miles Avenue area. And what we determined was that Merritt Avenue runs east to west. There's no outlet. There's a dead end. The road width supports parking on one side of the street. It's mostly residential there on Merritt. If there's a vehicle parked appropriately, there's approximately 13 feet that's accessible to traffic. On Merritt, there's 3 no parking signs that are facing westbound toward Litchfield Turnpike. So if you're heading toward Litchfield, there are 3 no parking signs. There's 1 no parking sign eastbound, which would be going toward the dead end. There's no speed limit signs. On Manila, which connects Merritt to, on Manila, which also runs east to west, there's also no outlet on the westbound to dead end. There is 1 no parking sign westbound towards Litchfield Turnpike, and there is a speed limit sign there, 25 miles per hour. There's also access to South Bradley Road from Manila. However, that road is gated off. At the intersection of Litchfield Turnpike and Merritt, there are do not block intersection signs that say subject to fine, and there's at least 3 of them right by the box at Merritt and Litchfield Turnpike. According to Sergeant Rizzuti's study in 2017, Fire Chief Rowland revealed that there were no significant emergency response implications on Merritt in the surrounding area. According to Officer Lynch and Officer Sapione, there's numerous students that reside in the area, and in the past 3 years, we have no reported accidents in that area. So with the new housing that is going in, some of the suggestions from the police department would be to enforce parking violations on a regular basis. And if we could have parking just on one side of the road, I'm not certain which is best. There is a handicap parking sign which is facing the dead end. Maybe we're coming in from Litchfield Turnpike on the right side of the road, have no parking on that side of the road. That might work. Also, we would have to amp up our traffic enforcement at the intersection of Litchfield and Merritt and Miles. There's also should probably be a speed limit sign erected on Merritt Avenue, as it does not have one.
So those are the findings and the possible suggestions. If the board agrees with those, we could draft a letter on behalf of the LTA and present that And I could also check with the Public Works Director to see if he has any input as far as which side might be of benefit to install the signs for the no parking. I don't know if it matters to them or not.
Do you want to wait till you have that communication, or should you want to vote on this now?
I'm okay if you don't mind if we vote on it now, that way, because they've been waiting for a response for some time now. So if we're able to vote on it, and I'll just clarify with him if he has any concerns about what side of what side of the road. If he has any significant concerns with that, then I'll reach out to you, let you know. But I don't believe that'll be a problem.
Okay, so I guess I would need a motion to adopt the recommendations of Deputy Chief Smith and the chief.
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Attorney Capella, are there any discussions? So we have to do a vote by roll call. If you can just say yay or nay. Dr. Desir,
Yay.
Attorney Capella,
Yay.
that carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the charity ride.
Okay, we received a request from the Milford Prevention Council regarding their 11th annual Ride for Hope. It's a charity motorcycle ride, and it's a fundraising event. With their goal is that they're a nonprofit organization aimed at reducing underage drinking and preventing youth substance abuse. A portion of their 70-mile ride will be passing through our town on Sunday, June 11th. It's scheduled to begin in Milford at 10 in the morning and will be concluded by approximately 12:30 that afternoon. The route travels from Orange into Woodbridge on Baldwin Road, continues north on Baldwin, and then on Northrop and onto Peck Hill. And then it'll turn left onto Route 67, where it'll continue westbound into Seymour. And then later that morning, it returns en route back to Milford, traveling the same route in reverse. They've done it for the past few years without an incident, and we'll make sure patrol's aware of the event when that day approaches. So we need the LTA's approval to allow them to proceed forward in obtaining the required Connecticut DOT highway special use permit. If you
Is there a motion? Sorry, Frank. Is there a motion to approve the charity ride? Thank you, Commissioner Capel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, the roll call, Dr. Desir
Aye.
and Attorney Capel.
Aye.
That carries unanimously, Janice. Next item on the agenda is the road closed for the Bethwood Baseball Opening Day.
Yeah, so they plan to hold that. That'll be on, this year will be on April 29th. It's their annual opening day ceremony and players parade, which will be on Meeting House Lane, and the event will be on the town green here. Their schedule is to start setting up around 8 in the morning and be concluded and cleaned up by approximately 1:00 p.m. They customarily close off Meeting House Lane for pedestrian safety from Center Road to the area of the library during that time, and they're requesting to do the same this year. I don't see any problem with it. We've customarily done it very successfully for the past few years, and they'll need the LTA's approval for that.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the closure of Meeting House Lane for Bethwood's opening day?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Capel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? The roll call, Dr. Seer,
Aye.
Attorney Capel,
Aye.
Janice, that carries unanimously. The next item is the Woodbridge Road Race. This is a busy night tonight for the Traffic Authority.
Yes, four different road closures. The Woodbridge Recreation Department will be holding its 41st annual Woodbridge Road Race on Saturday, September 30th, from approximately 8 in the morning till 12 noon. They'll be using the customary route of Newton Road to Burnt Swamp to Amity, southbound to North Pease to Rice Road, back onto Center Road, and return back to the center of town. It's always a well-staffed and well-marked route with signs and cones for safety concerns, And we'll be sure to dedicate personnel to assist at main intersections as needed. So they're seeking the legal traffic authority's approval to hold the race. And once your permission is granted, they'll be able to move forward with the same state DOT permitting process.
Have you had any issues in the past?
No, no.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the Woodbridge Road Race?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, with full disclosure that I sometimes participate, but I don't think that excludes my vote.
Do you finish?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, COI.
Is there any, do you run also, doctors here?
Not anymore. I just walk now.
Any
I'm older than Hank.
I don't think that would disqualify you. So the roll call for the Woodbridge Road Race, Dr. Desir
Aye.
and Attorney Capel.
Aye.
Janice, that carries unanimously as well. The last item on our agenda for the Traffic Authority is the Murray Lender 5K Bagel Run.
Okay, so we received a request from the Jewish Community Center seeking permission to hold their 10th annual Murray Lender 5K Bagel Run. That's scheduled to be on September 10th, 2023. The race will commence at 9:30 in the morning and it'll be over approximately 1 hour later. Again, this year, they also plan to use their regular route, which consists of the runners lining up on the JCC camp property, and they exit out to Shady Lane, make a left onto Pease Road. They continue to the end of Pease Road where it meets Rimmon Road, at which point they turn around and follow the same route back in reverse to the JCC. They don't go on the main highway there, so they just want to let us know they'll be using the town road for that. And as usual, the PD will partner with the JCC to ensure both traffic safety and harmony with the neighbors in the area as well, and keep everything accessible. So we look for the LTA's approval for that event.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the Murray Lender Run?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The roll call for the Murray Lender Run, Dr. Desir,
Aye.
Attorney Capel,
Aye.
Janice, that also carries unanimously. Is there a motion to adjourn the Woodbridge Traffic Authority?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the roll call to adjourn the Traffic Authority, Dr. Desir,
Aye.
Attorney Capel,
Aye.
that carries unanimously. It is now 6:31 p.m. Welcome to the Board of Police Commissioners meeting on Monday, March 20th, 2023. The first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. I believe we have a quorum to vote on that. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from February 7th of 23?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any amendments to the minutes? Hearing none. The roll call to approve the minutes, Dr. Desir,
Aye.
Attorney Capel.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. The next item on our agenda is the public comments. Chief, can you inquire of Janice whether there are any people from the public or any comments that we have to deal with?
Yep, Janice says no, there are not.
Thank you, Janice. The next item on our agenda, review the reports. The first item is the financial report.
So after completing the first 8.5 months of the fiscal year, we remain overall on track. We're at approximately 68.3% of our budget having been used. A few lines of significance I just want to point out. Both our police officer overtime line and our dispatcher overtime lines continue to be significantly affected. And this is, as I mentioned last month, is in correlation with staffing reductions and various vacancies and extended absences. So our police overtime line, as you can see, is that's line 50430, and it's at 107.3%. And our dispatcher overtime line 50440 is at 137.7%. And then our data processing line 52210, currently at 98.2%. There's almost $14,000 currently encumbered as still right now, but That that amount that was spent reflects increases that we've incurred in a lot of new costs, as I mentioned before, that are all associated with our ongoing department and townwide IT network and cybersecurity upgrades. And then the other line that's really been impacted and continues to be impacted is 53520. That's the repair maintenance vehicle line. We're at 136% on that, and it's just due to the routine maintenance, high vehicle mileages, inflated parts pricing. At the beginning of the year, we had 4 anticipated major repairs, and we just had another expense that came up now that was quite extensive. So just wanted to share those with you. But overall, we're remaining on track. So
What,
that's the budget.
what's the
Yes.
trajectory for the dispatchers? Is that leveling off, or is it?
It's still about the same, but that 7th dispatcher now, it's leveled off a little bit when we got the 6th dispatcher, he got cut loose. And the 7th dispatcher, we just had a staff meeting this morning, and it's anticipated that she'll be cut loose sometime next month, towards the first half of next month. So then after that, that should really help us a lot with the overtime on the dispatch side.
Chief, do we
Okay.
have any reimbursement due to us for overtime from any of the projects that you'd worked on, like Clicker or Ticket, anything like that?
Yeah, and actually, I discussed that with the finance director today, and he has not received any back, but there will be reimbursements coming that'll offset that line. Yes.
Do those reimbursements come back to your budget? Will we see them when they come in?
I believe that they will, yes, because that's what he was going to use to offset that. Because we were talking about, I mentioned if there was going to be a need for me to do some line transfers or something like that of that sort. He had suggested for that we wait and the reimbursements will come in, and then we'll address it as we get a little bit further towards the end of the fiscal year.
Do you have a ballpark on how much you expect to get?
No, but I would say, several thousand. So
If I could interject, I know for distracted driving, I think we're expecting around 52 or 5,500.
So where would that put us? 52? Well, we're 9,100 over, so that takes a dent out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is
that's
there
all for financial.
is there a motion to approve the financial report?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Steer. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, the roll call to approve the financial report, Dr. Steer
Aye.
and Attorney Capella.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. Next item on our agenda is the activity report.
And on the criminal side, our criminal activity during the month of February included, but was not limited to, there were 7 various fraud investigations of assorted types, ranging from identity theft to telephone scams, online banking fraud, altered checks, fraudulent ATM transactions. Those are all being investigated. We had 5 different larceny investigations. One involved missing funds, related incident from a local business, stolen catalytic converters, stolen construction materials from a job site. We have 3 missing person investigations. All 3 of those individuals all subsequently located. And we had 1 stolen motor vehicle that was missing from a commercial establishment and was later recovered in Stamford, Connecticut. And in alignment with that, the ISU report, last month, ISU assumed 7 new cases, including 5 police officer candidate background investigations. They conducted 3 requests for public fingerprinting and processed 5 pistol permit applications. As I mentioned last month, we had 9 commercial burglaries during the month of January. that plagued the lower business district and in the upper New Haven, Westville area. ISU was able to make arrest of 3 individuals responsible for those burglaries in our town, and by doing so, as of today, they cleared 8 of the 9 burglaries, with 1 still pending, as they're waiting the examination of some evidence at the State Forensic Laboratory. Of those arrests, 1 was made on site within hours of the burglary, and the remainder of the arrests were all done by warrant. Just to update you, a November death we had of a homeless person that was residing in the lower Route 69 area, in a wooded area there. That was ruled by the medical examiner as being an fentanyl-related overdose. And working with the state lab and other local law enforcement agencies, ISU was able to identify a person recently found to be in possession of a firearm that was linked to the shell casings found at the scene of the shooting incident that we investigated on Ansonia Road in the vicinity of Johnson Road back in October 22. So that's ongoing. And last month, they served an arrest warrant on the subject responsible for an incident involving the theft of checks from the mail at a private location in town. That's about all for the criminal activity side, and the deputy chief could share the activity on the traffic side.
Thank you, Chief.
With regards to traffic, we had 24 motor vehicle accidents in the month of February. That was a 20% increase from what our January numbers were. We had made 68 motor vehicle stops in the month of February. During the month, we conducted speed enforcement at 326 different times. We conducted deterrent traffic safety patrols 319 times. Our speed trailers were deployed at several different spots, including Amity Road and Walker Lane, Litchfield Turnpike and Clark Road, Johnson Road and Manville Road, in Baldwin Road and Greenway Road.
Okay. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve the activity report? Thank you, Dr. Sear. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Roll call to approve the activity report, Dr. Sear.
Aye.
Attorney Capel.
Aye.
Thank you both. That carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the report of the chief.
Okay, just 3 items I want to share with the board. So on February 25th, Sergeant Petalino and Officer Lynch represented our department in the Connecticut Special Olympics Penguin Plunge fundraising event. Their plunge into the cold lake water on that day was a cold and snowy day, actually. Their efforts help provide funding support for the athletes and unified partners who participate in the Connecticut Special Olympics year-round training and competition in 26 different sports. So I'd just like to formally extend my thanks to both of them for their participation in that event in support of such a great organization.
Thank you, both officers.
And the next item I had was regarding a uniform modification. So I received a request from our officers to utilize the Safariland Bothell external load-bearing vest carrier as a third option to wear their equipment and body armor. So for years now, they've already had external vest carriers, but those accommodate their vest only. They don't hold any equipment, just your vest on the outside of your uniform. This new option involves a slight change in uniform appearance, but it's something that many of our surrounding communities have allowed for quite some time now. And most recently, Orange PD and the Ansonia PD have authorized its wear to be worn as well. So the benefit of the proposed load-bearing vest is that they have a MOLLE system, which enables the officer to shift some of their equipment from their duty belt to the vest which in turn allows them ambidextrous access to it. Currently on their duty belts, officers are carrying approximately 20 to 30 pounds of equipment. Studies have shown that these load-bearing type vests serve to enhance officer wellness by spreading out that weight, the weight of the equipment from the gun belt to the vest, which in turn reduces hip discomfort and lower back injuries. So Sergeant Pedalino's on with us tonight. And he can show you what the vest looks like, and he has some additional information to share with you as to the benefit of such a vest. So Sergeant Pedalino.
I'm gonna hold up a tablet here just so to kind of show you. It's actually somebody's on.
Brian, excuse me one moment. Could other people put their, oh, thank you, unmute? I appreciate it. Sorry, Brian.
That's all right. This is what it's gonna look like with the equipment on it. The biggest thing I can probably stress about it is there's been a ton of studies across the country the last decade that have shown that the wearing of the duty belt puts a large stress on the lower back and hip, which in turn causes problems for the officers. So by going to this, and the studies have shown, it's more of an officer safety thing to kind of move the equipment up to the front. There really is not much big change in the appearance other than you're shifting the equipment from the waistline to more the belly line, which is just below the vest. The chief has already mentioned, we already have an external vest carrier that we wear, but it doesn't allow for the equipment to be on it. So this just gives the officers an opportunity to move the stuff off their hips and take that weight off the hips. So,
Brian, it was really kind of hard to see from that
sorry.
photo. So the question I have is that it looks like the stuff is on their chest and their belly. Is that wrong?
It's more like the belly line, the way it'll, let me see if I can, there's a different photo I can show you here. Bear with me for one moment. All right, so here's just some surrounding towns pictures. I don't know if this is gonna help at all. If I come a little closer here, I'm getting a glare. Let me turn this light off. I don't know if this is gonna help at all. So like this one here, I don't know if it's any better. This is Hamden PD.
Right.
In the middle there. I think this is another one that was presented to me by another department. It's moving the stuff off the waistline and more to the belly line of it. We'll still have identification, the shield, the name placard, everything that's required by the new accountability bill. Very similar to what we already have on our uniforms. I mean, officers will still be required to have the patch insignia on their collared shirts that we want underneath it. Like I said, the biggest difference is going to be that instead of having it on the waistline, it's on that belly line of the officer.
The only question I have for you, I certainly would defer to you. It seems like it makes sense from an anatomical perspective to assist the officers in the strain, but it looks like the taser would be more accessible to a suspect in that location during a scuffle than it would be on their side.
I couldn't.
It's hard to see from the, I mean, you gentlemen probably would, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just one photo that I had. The important thing in terms of taser placement, if we're going to allow it to be on the vest like that, is just to keep it on the opposite side of the gun, which is part of taser's policy anyways.
Yeah, it just seems like it's kind of in a vulnerable spot that close to, I mean, it's harder to grab it, I would think, if someone's on the side, but clearly it's just something a question to bring up. I'm not saying that, you know, I would certainly have the answer, but I was just concerned about that for you guys.
Yeah, that I couldn't answer to, I'm not sure.
So,
Dr. Sear?
so I'm a rheumatologist, so I am 1,000% in favor of something that reduces stress on backs and hips, especially as these are areas that are particularly at risk with officers. I was wondering, and I'm also 1,000% in favor of anything that increases safety. But is there any data that you have available that it actually does that?
Does what? Takes the stress off.
Yeah.
So the best thing I could refer to, there was a big study done out in Wisconsin by, I'm gonna screw the name of this college up. It was the EAU Clare Police Department in accordance with their, there's a university police department. It was done with the Mayo Clinic. They did a big study where they had 15 officers go and wear both duty belt and the vest carrier for 3 months at a piece. And then at the end of each shift, they completed a survey based on comfort, how they felt, how their body felt. And there was, I don't have the statistical numbers right in front of me, but they found that the vest carrier definitely enhanced the officers' comfort levels. Another study done by UC San Francisco, going back to that study there, they showed, based on the ergonomics of the way the belts were done and the equipment was inside of a car, it tended to push upwards on the hip itself into the lower back and caused a strain.
I mean, the ones you're using now,
What's that?
not the ones you're proposing, the ones you're.
No, this is all about the duty belts.
Oh, okay.
The duty belts, as a result of where the equipment was placed on it, put a lot of pressure, upward pressure into the hip and lower back region. Another study done by the CDC showed that 62% of law enforcement officers suffer from low back pain, while 9% of them going into the force had any lower back issues.
Yeah.
And the CDC was able to determine that wearing a duty belt impairs posture and induces pelvic imbalancement due to uneven weight distribution of all gear. And that was a 2017 study done by the CDC.
That's well documented, yes, and especially the issue with backs. But I was curious will this help? Because obviously if it helps, we would like to do it, but.
I would say based on all the studies done across that I've kind of read, absolutely would help, because what you're doing is you're taking the weight, you're putting it onto a vest that is now supported by your shoulders. Whereas the duty belt, just imagine you're taking 30 pounds, attaching it onto your belt of your pants, and then expecting your hips to hold that weight.
A bad idea.
What's that?
It sounds like
Yeah.
a bad idea in concept. Well, I mean, look, I guess the worst thing is if you guys do it and you don't like it, you go back.
Yeah.
Right. And officers won't be forced to go to this. It's just an option. Officers can still wear the uniform as like the chief has on right now, both chiefs. Wear the vest, actually you'll have a duty belt, and then you'll have your armor will be underneath the uniform itself. This is just
I have a question for the chief and the deputy. Is there any reason why you'd want to have a consistent uniform? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, I think that we still will be pretty much consistent, because you'll still see the shirt patches and it's,
No, I meant whether you use this.
one person to the other.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't foresee a problem with it, and that's the way most agencies are have them implemented. And just to take what Sergeant Pedalino said a little bit further, yes, it will be optional for the officers, so they'll have the options. Some might want to wear them, some might not want to wear them, and at this point, the purchase of the load-bearing vest would fall on the officer themselves. So there's really no cost to the town for it. And I would come out with a written directive regarding the use and the implementation of it. So moving forward, as long as the board has no objection with it, I think it's a great idea in promoting officer health, safety, and wellness. And I'd like to move forward with it as an option for those officers that choose to do so.
Does that require a vote because it's an expenditure?
No, there won't be any expenditure for council, just as long as, just your tacit approval. I just wanted to share because of the appearance and just to make you aware of it, that's all.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If I could just interrupt you, Dr. Sierra, is 7 o'clock a hard stop for you?
I'm gonna stay on because
Okay.
otherwise it's.
I mean, we can just pass on some of the other items. It doesn't, because we have to get to the last item.
So let's, if we could do the last item first, I don't know if that's allowable, that would be very helpful.
Well, we can do that. The problem is that, well, I guess, Frank, how long would it take to do the personnel and the budget?
No, they'll be really quick. if
Okay.
That's okay. We'll be done in 2 minutes.
Okay,
I'll
Okay,
make it quick.
I'm gonna start the timer now.
Okay, good. Here we go. So moving on to personnel, Rob.
Accept the chief.
Yes, please.
Oh, could you just remind me, just need to formally accept the chief's report.
Okay, is there a vote to accept the chief's report? Is there a motion?
so moved.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, Dr. Seer.
Aye,
Attorney Capel.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the personnel matters.
Okay, just a couple things are regarding extended absences. We received good news that our officer who unexpectedly had to go out on extended medical absence at the end of December. He's received full medical clearance to return to duty without restrictions effective April 17th. So we're happy to have him back, and even more happy that he's able to get through that issue.
That's outstanding. Good
Yeah,
news.
Very, very good news. And then as I reported last month, we have another officer who will be going out on extended medical absence in association with a prior workman's comp injury related procedure. And his absence is due to start at the end of this month, and it's anticipated to last for approximately 2 months or so. So we'll have that to deal with, and the staffing challenges associated with that. And just an update on our hiring process that we were going through to fill a vacancy. So we had the one retirement, we had that vacancy that we're trying to fill. And as I reported, as of the closing date of February 3rd, for the position of non-certified new recruit candidates, we had 5 applicants. Of those 5 applicants, 1 never showed up, leaving us with only 4 potential candidates. And unfortunately, after the background investigation process, for various reasons, none of those 4 were able to pass the process, not only for us, but even in some of the other agencies that they were involved in as well. So at this point, we're back to square one. And because of that and the lack of candidates right now and future testing and the delays, if the board's good with it, I'd like to seek that we move forward with hiring a certified police officer to fill this vacancy and not wait. We're really being challenged now with that. So if the board agrees, I'll get a job posting out for that in the near future.
I think so. Frank, what's the minimum age for a police officer?
21. Okay, and that's all I had under personnel.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is budget.
And just a quick update on the budget, both the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance have completed the reviews of the proposed fiscal year 24 capital and operating budget requests. They've made their adjustments in a decision as to the recommended budget that will be presented at the town's preliminary budget hearing. Regarding our proposed budget request, I've been advised this afternoon that our request for 2 new vehicles for patrol was reduced to only 1, and our funding request for 1 additional officer that would have increased our staffing level from 23 to 24. That's been eliminated from the funding for this year's budget. So just to let you know, the preliminary budget hearing is scheduled for the evening of April 24th. So it'll be coming up next month. And that's all I had for budget.
Okay, the last item on our agenda is an executive session matter. Is there a motion to move to executive session?
so moved.
Is there a second? Okay, roll call on the motion to move to executive session. Dr. Seer,
Aye,
Attorney Capel.
Aye.
So we have to join a separate link. And we will invite Chief, Deputy Chief, Janice, and the officer. Frank, just so the record's clear, there was a invitation that was offered and accepted,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes, it was to both officers. And one is on, and yeah.
They're both on. So if they could join, I'm hoping they received that that other link, if they could join the other link, and we'll meet them over there.
Okay,